The shine on Moses wasn't just revelation, but relationship. Grace and peace again, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. This is part number 4 of our 5-part series, The Shining on Moses' Face. And what does that mean to us? Again, we see that we have a God who wants to be close to us. And we get close, not because we're good, but because he's good. It's grace that draws us together. And Jesus is that binding force, that bridge between us and our Father. And so close now that God doesn't want to just show us, he wants to share who he is. We become more like him. And that's the beauty of a relationship. The beauty of a relationship is not just what can I get from this individual, but we want to be around the right kind of people because, as you know, in time, we become like the people we're with. And that's what happens to Moses, and it's what happens to a real believer. However, before we get into it, we want to let you know we love to stay in touch. That's easy. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment or a question. We'd like to hear from you. And you know what? We even like to come to where you are, your church or school or group. Send us an email. That's in the description below. And so now let's get into it. In Exodus 34, it says, "It came to pass when Moses came down from the Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of testimony in his Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount after this encounter, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with them." Moses did not know that he was bearing the Shekinah glory on his very person, on his face. This was not something you can buy in a bottle. You can't get it in the store. You can't order it online. You can only get this in the very presence of God. Now, Moses was not aware of it because what Moses was focusing on was not revelation. He was coming on the heels of a relational experience. This intermingling, this communication causes now Moses to look less like where he's come from and more like where he was. And that was in the presence of God. In Exodus 34, verse 30, when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moses called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moses talked with them. They were afraid of what they were seeing. They ran the other way because the glory was so powerful. But the thing that's so, I just like, wow, is that Moses didn't see it. Moses does not see what they see. And it's so much like what it's like to be a believer. When you're walking with God, oftentimes, as the closer you get to Christ, the more you see your own failures, your own self, your own inadequacies. But as other people see you, and that humility makes space for that glory of God to come into your life, you look more patient. You sound more gracious. You have stronger faith. You appear different to others, while in our eyes, all we see is like, wow, I got so far to go. But by the grace of God, people are able to see how far we've come. It's exactly what happens to us. Moses was a metaphor. No, we don't have the literal bearing of a light, but we're bearing the light of God, which is the character of Christ when we make the decision to walk in the Spirit and to reject that flesh. Finally, in Matthew 17, to show us what God's able to do, in verse 1, 6 days, after 6 days, Jesus takes Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain, apart. And he was transfigured before them. And his face, this is Jesus's face, did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. The transfiguration of Jesus, the shining of the glory of God on Moses, they are all indicators of what we will eventually bear physically, while we can experience this spiritually. Bearing the light of God in this dark world and in this dark age. We don't live to bear the shine. That's the revelation. We're living by relationship. That's the day by day by day by day. And that day by day, we become more and more like Jesus and less like us.